New York City, 1973. It was a city on the edge of a nervous breakdown. The Bronx was burning, crime was soaring, and the government was broke. It was a time of decay, but in the darkness, predators were thriving. One night, inside an exclusive members-only spot called Le Club, a young man was looking for a way out of his father's shadow. He was tall, awkward, and ambitious. His name was Donald Trump. Across the room sat a man with heavy-lidded eyes and a scar on his nose. He wasn't a celebrity, but he was the most feared man in the room. Politicians, mobsters, and socialites, they all kissed his ring. His name was Roy Cohn. And that night, the course of American history changed forever. Not with a handshake, but with a lesson in brutality. This is the story of the man who created a monster. This is the story of Roy Cohn. To understand the student, you have to understand the master. Before he met Trump, Roy Cohn was already a legend of the dark arts. In the 1950s, he was the boy wonder of the Red Scare. At just 24 years old, he sent Julius and Ethel Rosenberg to the electric chair for espionage. While others hesitated, Cohn pushed for the death penalty. He didn't just want to win cases, he wanted to destroy his enemies completely. He was the whisperer behind Senator Joe McCarthy. He learned early that the truth is flexible, but power is absolute. He was a lawyer who didn't care about the law, he cared about the judge. By the 1970s, he was the king of New York's underworld. He represented the mafia bosses like Fat Tony Salerno, and he represented the Catholic Church. He lived in a world where morality was a weakness. And then, the young Donald Trump walked into his life with a problem. The year was 1973. The US Department of Justice had just sued the Trump family business. The charge? Racial discrimination. They had evidence that Trump buildings were marking applications from black renters with the letter C for colored and rejecting them. It was a career-ending lawsuit. The evidence was overwhelming. The Trump family lawyers said, "Settle, apologize, make it go away." But Donald didn't want to apologize. He went to Roy Cohn, and Roy gave him the playbook that would define the next 50 years of American culture. He taught him 3 simple, brutal rules. Rule number 1, attack, attack, attack. Never defend yourself. If they hit you, hit them back 10 times harder. Rule number 2, admit nothing, deny everything. Even when the evidence is in front of your face, deny it. Create your own reality. Rule number 3, claim victory and never admit defeat. Even if you lose, say you won. Under Cohn's guidance, Trump didn't settle quietly. He countersued the United States government for $100 million. It was absurd. It was theatrical. But it worked. It turned a legal battle into a media circus. In the end, they settled without admitting any guilt. Donald declared it a total victory. He had learned the lesson. It doesn't matter what happened. It only matters what people believe happened. Throughout the late 70s and 80s, Cohn and Trump were inseparable. Cohn smoothed the way for the construction of Trump Tower. He pulled strings with the unions, the mob, and the city council. He treated Donald like the son he never had. He gave him style, he gave him connections, and most importantly, he gave him an armor of arrogance. But there is a tragedy inherent in this kind of relationship. The student eventually outgrows the master. By the mid-1980s, Donald Trump was becoming a global icon. But Roy Cohn was crumbling. The IRS was chasing him for millions in unpaid taxes. He was disbarred from practicing law, shamed by the very legal system he used to manipulate, and physically, he was dying. Roy Cohn had AIDS. He denied it to the grave, claiming it was liver cancer, following his own rule: deny everything. But as he lay dying in a hospital in Maryland, the phone stopped ringing. The protégés, the politicians, the mobsters, they all vanished. And what about Donald? History tells us that Trump distanced himself. The man who taught him to win at all costs was now a loser by his own definition. There is a famous story that near the end, Trump gave Cohn a pair of diamond cufflinks as a thank you gift. Roy treasured them. But after Roy died, it was discovered that the cufflinks were fake, knockoffs. Roy Cohn died in 1986. He left behind no family, a ruined reputation, and a legacy of ruthlessness. But in a way, he never really left. Every time we see a press conference turned into a spectacle, every time truth is battled with denial, every time victory is claimed from the jaws of defeat, we are seeing the ghost of Roy Cohn. He created the ultimate American product, and the product survived its creator.